Hello, my name is Rev Hillstrom, and I'm the Director of Educational Equity here in Osseo area schools. Part of my responsibility is to help us as a district think about what it means to create equitable student achievement and how to make some of these transformational changes. Part of that is to think about what culturally responsive education looks like in pedagogy, and I'm here today to offer a model that we're using called the CLEAR model. The CLEAR model is a systems thinking tool that helps us kind of organize what it really means to be culturally responsive and how to get clear about that. So therefore the acronym. The C deals with the cultural emphasis. Cultural emphasis is really what we're looking at is how is this connecting to the human purpose of what's being learned and its relationship to the student's own culture. The L, of course, is around learning, encouraging students to make choices. What does content and assessment methods look like that's connected to their values, needs, and strengths? The E is where are we setting up environments, learning environments, that are actually respecting the student's own racial or ethnic identity, and how is that valued, and where does that contribute to successful academic outcomes? The A is part of the process of looking at including multiple ways to represent knowledge and different skills. How do we allow them to be obtained at different times, and where does this really show up for a student as they think about achievement? R is responsive. And there's this belief that we have here in Osseo area schools that through positive relationships, these deep, meaningful, rigorous learning experiences can be created that involve higher order of thinking and really lead to critical analysis that uses relevant and realness and world issues to help us actually attack learning from an action-oriented manner. Today, I want to look a little bit at just one of these elements, and it's the R in the CLEAR model. We believe, as I said, that through these positive relationships, rigorous learning experiences can be created that involve this higher order of thinking connected to our world's best workforce. And we're looking at how do we address relevant issues that are real issues, and how do people show up as their real authentic self in our class, and how are we offering relevant materials that lead us to some form of action-oriented experience within our classrooms. To do that, we've come to understand this equation of culturally responsive pedagogy. Most of us have heard of the 4 R's of culturally relevant pedagogy, and how do they show up in a responsive manner? So I offer you this equation, R plus R times R equals R. And of course the R's are relevance plus realness times a relationship equal rigor. But what do we mean when we say these different R's? What is relevance? Well, the Merriam-Webster Dictionary online offers us the following definitions. Relevance, relation to the matter at hand, practical, especially socially applicable. When we're thinking about this, is the material we're offering in our classrooms socially applicable? Does it connect in a meaningful way with the student's own values? I've never met a teacher who doesn't want to teach. I have never met a student who doesn't want to learn. Relevance is the place where what the teacher wants to teach connects with what the student is interested in learning. Realness. What are we really talking about when we're talking about realness? Nothing artificial or fraudulent. Getting past illusions and becoming genuine. Are we allowing our students to be their most authentic self in the classroom? Or are we creating prescriptive approaches that mandate certain forms of compliance before we're willing to teach? And a relationship. This idea of the state of being related or interrelated, the relation that's connected and binding. And how are we bound to our students and how are they bound to us? Often I wonder, are we in a relationship with students or are we offering kind, professional demeanor? What do we know of our students and what do they know of us? How are we interrelated and how are we connected? As an Indigenous male in this conversation, relationships are critical to me. How are those relationships moving us forward as a community, and do we understand that we are interconnected and bound to each other? If we move forward and think about rigor, here's what the dictionary provides as a definition. This is this place of harsh inflexibility, severity, strictness, cruelty even is connected to this idea. A condition that makes life difficult, challenging, or uncomfortable. I offer that if we are not providing relevance and realness in our content and curriculum, multiplied by a meaningful relationship, this is what we'll experience. But when we do provide that, here's what we can look for. Vigor, active bodily or mental strength or force, healthy, well-balanced growth. I know that this is what we're looking for in our classrooms. And so what I want to ask us to consider is, where in our curriculum do we have relevance? Where in our curriculum are we providing realness in our instructional practices and our pedagogy? And how is our relationship multiplying that? And what is it leading to? Is it leading to a strict, cruel space where students aren't connecting? Is that their experience? Or are we providing and creating the space for vigor, this mental strength of force, well-balanced growth and intensity? That is why we're looking at culturally responsive instruction, because the belief is that through culturally responsive instruction, we can create the learning environments that Paulo Freire references. Through proper education, individuals transform themselves as learners, which provides themselves with the necessary tools to bring about radical structural changes that support a democratic lifestyle and equitable solutions. As we consider what it means to be culturally responsive and how we influence transformational change in the district, our desire is to become clear in our work. And I offer you this clear model as a process, as a systems thinking tool for us to reflect on. I thank you for your time and your expertise in changing the system to ensure equitable student achievement.